Hello and welcome to Intimate Conversations, where we learn about the people and the stories behind early music. I'm Sylvia L'Ecuyer, and in today's episode, my guest is Vincent Dumestre, who will be performing in Vancouver on Friday, October 20th at 7:30 at Christ Church Cathedral, and he's with me today. Welcome, Vincent.
Hello, Sylvia. Nice to meet you.
Very happy that you finally make your way all the way to Vancouver, because the fans of early music here will be happy to discover what you bring to them. The Poème Harmonique is an ensemble that you created in 98. So that's already 25 years ago. You were very young when you were creating that. You were about 30.
I was.
And what made you think that you had to create this group of musicians? What did you have in mind, especially?
Well, I was working with a lot of groups of orchestras. For example, it was Jean-Claude Malgoire or Jordi Savall, well, it was a pleasure to do it and to learn in the orchestra. But in that time, I really loved the ancient, the early music, the music of the 17th century, and I've done a lot of 18th century music with them. And I was like asking myself, well, how to do that music? And I was searching in some sources in the bibliothèque and the library, and I found a lot of very beautiful pieces from Castaldi, Domenico Belli, Italian one or French one with the air de cour, Moulinier, Guédron. And these composers were really not known at this time, and there were quasi any disc. Suzy Leblanc, I think, had,
yes.
If I remember well, yeah, and it was
beautiful Moulinier recording she did.
Yeah, exactly. I remember it was beautiful. But except her and except maybe some pieces or some people that done this music, but there was quasi nothing. And well, someday I decide to stop everything. It was a bit crazy, I decided to stop every collaborations, and then I was without any money and anything, but I was really happy to enter in a new adventure, and so to do exactly what I wanted to do with that special music. And the first disc was Domenico Castaldi, and it was a so big success. It was incredible to have this success with a group absolutely not known and a composer not known, and so it gave us energy to continue until today.
And then you continue to explore with at least what we know here, the best are your recordings, of course. Each recording bring us in a new musical universe, including one that is very early too, called Au Marche du Palais, where you included popular songs of the 17th and 18th century. What relationship do you see between the popular music of the time and this musique savante, the serious music?
Well, there is an enormous influence of the popular music on the music, the serious music. I don't know if exactly the word, but the musique savante. And when you imagine the cour of Henri IV, for example, people were dancing in some hamlet or some village, the music that you heard in the royal court.
Really?
It was really the same. For example, the gigue or the sarabande or the allemande that we've done with a hurdy-gurdy. We say hurdy-gurdy,
yeah. And that's Orgue de Barbarie.
Or Vieux-la-Roux.
More
than that, yeah. And we can have this music in the court of the king, just with different instruments, but it was exactly the same. Or we have it, for example, with Bach in the 18th century in this cellos suite, but it's the same music. So serious music take to the popular music the structure of their music, and it's very interesting to go to the popular music and to imagine how it was done, how it sounds, And that's the reason why I've done this famous disc, the Au Marche du Palais. And we've got in this concert that we prepare for you, there would be a so beautiful old song. Maybe you know it. It's Quand je menais les chevaux boire. You know that song?
Yes, I think, yeah, absolutely.
And it's one of the best. And we've done it. We do it in this program because it's really natural to have it between air de cour, between the ballets royaux, between instrumental music of Michel Richard de Lalande, or others, or Étienne Moulinier. I mean, it's really that sounds of Paris and of Le Louvre when it was a castle.
Yeah, that's what interesting for me. Of course, when the Louvre was a castle, Louis XIV was still very young. Only when he was 40 years old, he decided that he was big enough to build himself a grand palace like he wanted in Versailles. But until then, he was living in Paris among the Parisians and the people working in the palace were also ordinary people. And I think you mentioned one day in an interview that you could hear the people working, I don't know, cleaning the steps and singing popular songs in Versailles. There was kind of a beautiful cohabitation of the people of Paris and the king. But unfortunately for him, I mean, he moved away from his people, and that ended quite badly at the end. But Versailles was a place where he was presenting a different type of music. It was grandiose. It was to show his power, no?
You use the right words when you say a good cohabitation, and it was really that between le peuple, between people, and the king. And it was a tradition in France from before François Ier, Henry IV, Louis XIII. That, I mean, they were king, but near the people. And exactly as you say, when Louis XIV arrived to Versailles, he cut this kind of a combination or tradition, and Versailles was really like the mirror of the power, and the music of Lully was the mirror of the power also. So the reason to be of the music was really different. In the Louvre, it was just for the pleasure, if I simplify things, and in Versailles, it was really for, I mean, just to explain his power. Yeah.
Yeah, and he built an opera there and everything. So now at the Louvre, and the music you bring to us now, you bring it with a small ensemble. The chambers were smaller, so it was smaller production. So we have the smaller version of Le Poème Harmonique coming to us. Explain to us what the Poème Harmonique is built.
Well, it's not the smaller one, We have smaller than that, of course. No, we have.
Oh, okay.
We do quatuor also, with 4 or 5 people to 80 or 100 people when we do big operas, for example. And that is my pleasure, because my job is not a job. It's full of job. I do a lot of research. I'm like a musicologist finally, or archaeologue sometimes, and of course I'm a conductor, and I'm also a lutist. And well, this is a group, so there's a lot of human things. So I don't know the word in English. I have to build that between people, and it's so fantastic moment that I have, and my pleasure is to do 50% of my time big production, and when I'm conduct, and 50% just playing, with just the pleasure to be with my instrument and with my best friends for this kind of concert. So it will be for you, it will be musique de chambre. It means with 2 violinists, the bass, two bass, a violone and a gamba, and 2 harmonies, in fact. Myself with a lute, and Camille Delaforge on cembalo, and the singers, Anaïs Bertrand. that is very perfect to do Italian music, because it's often written with two trebles and bass and more the voice. But also French music works like that. So I mean, I think it's perfect cast for this kind of program.
And with that, what you do is you're telling us a story, because I think I love the way you seem to be imagining your programs. It's always a story. You take us somewhere, you make an experience for us. So what will be the story that you tell us at this concert?
And well, I really love this word when you say a story, because I always feel my job like like a father who have to say his story to his children's, and to do the most to so that they are, like, with the eyes like that. It's very simple. In fact, our job, we have people in front of us. We just have to give them pleasure with the music, and the structure, the dramaturgy, the story that we tell is very important. The moment of silence, the moment of a lot of energy, of violence, of sweetness. We build it, of course. It's not natural. We have to think to it. We have to prepare it. So it's really prepared, but it's really natural also. And if it works, it's so beautiful, because it's our best pleasure. And I forget your question.
No, we were talking about the stories, and that's exactly where we are. And I think a bit what you mentioned in your presentation of the program in general is that you had this French music in the Louvre and in France in general, and then some kind of cataclysmic event came from Italy, which was the Italian opera, and completely transformed things.
Yeah. In fact, it's the story of Mazarin, because Mazarin was the minister of Louis XIV, and he was very important in France. He was a very intelligent guy, and in love with Italian opera. And he bring the Italian opera to Paris in 1445 with the first opera that was La Finta Pazza from Sacrati. And then Cavalli, he bring Cavalli, Egisto, and the Orfeo from Rossi, and then a lot of each year it was a new Italian opera. And at the beginning, it was in very small venue. It was in the Palais Bourbon for the first one, and Petit Palais de Bourbon it was for 20 people. So really nothing. And but it was boring for people, because they really don't like the Italian speech in the music, because it was that. And the last one was not Egisto, but Ercole Amante, the last Italian opera who came to Paris. And it was a big success with, I think, something like 6,000 or 7,000 of people who were in the venue. But people really love the ballet of Lully that Lully put into the opera, but not the music of Cavalli. So the poor Cavalli was coming back to Paris for the third time, and each time people really don't care about the music of the Italian music. But what happened then? Lully, of course, who understood the music, who understood what kind of music like French people. It means sweet melody, dance, because the king danced, the people danced. It was very important. The air de cour, so the madrigals, something like that. And he invented the famous French recitative then, with a girl from the theater, not from the Comédie Française, but something like that, from the Hôtel de Bourgogne. It was like the Comédie Française. He just asked her to declam, I mean, to speak the words, and he was on a cembalo playing some harmony, and he just invented the recitative like that. And some years ago, in 73, he organized, finally, he writes the first French opera. It means tragedy, French tragedy, that was Cadmus and Hermione. And it was the beginning of an amazing story between himself and Quinault, the librettist, for 10 years and for 11 opera that were really important for the French repertory until the 20th secular, I mean, until
20th century. I love the way you tell the story. When you said he did that a few years ago, I have the impression that you are living in the time. I mean, you experience, and we will be able to experience ourselves listening to the music, the difference and the progression between those different styles of music that was happening at the time. That's fascinating. You take us back in time.
You mean between which music?
Between the French popular music and the French music at the court and the Italian music coming, we will be able to hear the different styles at the concert.
Yeah, of course. I mean, it was very different in the time. And what is fantastic is to imagine that people really hear for the first time the Italian recitative, and they were like shocked. And we have some things written by people who say that French people really find this music horrible because too violent, and not understanding. And after, I mean, time after time, I mean, they begin to understand this music. And after, I mean, in the end of the 17th century, finally, the Italian music was in Europe. I mean, the only one. I mean, the most important. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I know that we talked about the concert a lot. Just a couple of things that you're doing beside preparing those tours that impresses me very much. You created l'École Harmonique, which is a little bit of a system that you have in Normandy, the area of France where you are installed. Is it also managed by Le Poème Harmonique, by your group?
Yeah, well, we have a residence in Rouen. I mean, Rouen is in the center of the Normandy. And so we do a lot of things here. I mean, creation, new program, have a little festival, and other things, and two things for children's and also for students, let's say. So for students, I organize an international concours. That is the Concours Corneille, and it's absolutely now because tomorrow today we had a lot of students from all the world, across all the worlds, and Canadian and in United States people come just for the concours. And Karina Gauvin is our president for this 3 days. This is in Rouen, and this is for, I mean, students, finally. And we do also something for young, for children, because, in France, I mean, it's not possible for everybody to go to the conservatory, because conservatory is not so expensive, but not so cheap also. I mean, so people cannot pay for that. So we organize something like the Sistema, as you know, in Rouen for some schools. And so we have a musician who give lesson to the children, and they learn, I mean, violin, cello, and I mean, only strings. Yeah, it's really nice to be there, and I come with musician every month to do music with them, and I organize a big concert at the end of the year in June for them. And well, I mean, it's my it's the way that I'm doing things for people, but not with the concert. I mean, my job is to be on stage, of course, but and I don't have any time to. I don't teach, for example. Sometimes I do some masterclass, but I mean, very rarely. So it's the only possibility for me to
give back.
To give back, exactly, and to give music differently as to be on stage. So I really love that.
And when you don't travel, but if we travel, what we can see of your productions of Poème Harmonique in Europe is also different, because you have big productions on big operas with lots of people. And just tell us a word about that.
You mean the next one, right?
Yeah. Why not?
Well, we have some concerts here in France. Before to go to this tour, we would be in Auditorium du Louvre, just this time. Yeah, in the Louvre, in 1 week. And just before, in some days, we are in Ambronay. That is a beautiful festival, and we do a special program with maybe Stéphanie Doustrac, wonderful mezzo soprano. And we do a program about the beginning of the early music that is not in the 17th. I mean, with Arnoncourt and Jean-Claude Malgoire and etc. But it was in the beginning of the 20th century with Wanda Landowska and some others.
Yeah, the harpsichord player, yeah.
Yeah, and there was some mixity between this kind of music, the first early music, in fact, and the popular French song. So I've done a program around that with her. The title is Mon Amant de Saint-Jean. That is a very French known song from the beginning of the 20th century.
It sounds like Edith Piaf.
Exactly. A bit before Edith Piaf, but I mean, it's this kind of music, and we mixed with early music and this kind of music. And I mean, it's an example of what we do, but I mean, we have a lot of program. We have a fantastic opera on the, how we say, the genre in English, the gender. Yeah, the gender.
Oh, really? Gender issue. Yeah, everybody's talking about that right now.
It's from a composer that is Galuppi. It's a Venetian one, 18th century, and he composed l'uomo femmina, the man woman. Oh. And it's so funny opera bouffe, and the libretto is fantastic. I mean, it's just, you can imagine, and it's really against the, how to say that in English, how guys were with women in this time in Venezia.
Oh, the male supremacy or something like that.
Exactly, the male supremacy, exactly. So it's a project for 2024. And we have also a Carnaval Baroque with circus people, I mean, artists and singers. It's like a new production, but I mean, an old production that we do again. We've done it from more than 12 years and quasi 100 representation. And we do it again. We build it again. We change the cast and we change something of on stage, and we do it again, and it will be in December. Well, I mean, we have a lot of concerts. I mean, it's a lot of things to.
I loved your passion, and I loved the way you make early music alive again and reborn constantly. It's a great pleasure. Well, I hope you can bring us some of your other production. Otherwise, we'll try to do our best to go where you are and to see them. It's a great, great pleasure to have you with us, Vincent Dumestre. Thank you for checking with me today. And I remind everyone that you can purchase tickets to the concert on the October 20th at 7:30 at Christchurch Cathedral. It's available on the site of earlymusic.bc.ca. And I hope you will join us there, because I will be have the occasion to talk again to Vincent before the concert. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.